Welcome to my channel. This is JC Rock and Metal Reviews. My name is John, and today I have a new album from the band Epica. So before I start, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I upload videos every day. I do rock and metal reviews and a lot more. So if you'd like to make any purchases through Amazon US, please click on my affiliate link in the video description. Okay, now that I got all that done, I'm just gonna talk about how I'm gonna do this review, because I like to kind of change up my style every now and then. So I'm gonna do this in 4 sections. So I'm gonna give you first my overall impression of the band. Then I'm gonna give you like a quick bio of the band. I'm gonna go over just 5 of the songs because it is a fairly long album and I'm not gonna do a track by track. And I'm gonna give you my final thoughts and my final score. So this band is new to me. I've listened to a few of their songs that were probably like part of a playlist. The band was never very memorable to me at first, and I probably couldn't tell you which songs I heard from the band. But let me tell you, when I first listened to this album, I went into it expecting to hear a band that sounds maybe exactly like Nightwish. Now, I've talked about Nightwish often on this channel, but I think the main difference between is that Nightwish combines like symphonic music with classic heavy metal, whereas Epica combines symphonic metal with more of like death metal, as well as like influences from progressive metal, thrash metal, and groove metal. I mean, this band has a little more of like a heaviness to it. I was also expecting something like an album I recently reviewed from the band Therion. But no, Epica does have a more like a distinct sound. So the band is from the Netherlands. The band has a symphonic metal sound and the distinguished use of male and female vocals. So the main vocalist is Simone Simons, and she has a classic mezzo-soprano vocal style. And then there's also the guitarist who also provides vocals. His name is Mark Johnson, and he uses like a growled like death metal vocal style. And this band, they've been around a little while. They released their first album in 2003 that was called Phantom Agony. And this band is very consistent. They release albums about every 2 or 3 years. Omega is their 8th album, and as most albums are released this year, the album has been delayed because of the pandemic. The album was finished back in September of 2020, and the first single was released back in October 2020. The album, it's fairly long. It's 12 tracks with a runtime of 70 minutes. Okay, now I'm gonna go over my 5 favorite songs from the album. So number 1 is going to be Abyss of Time, Countdown to Singularity. This song begins with a classic symphonic metal sound. You hear Mark's growls and Simone's singing in the first verse. I really like the interplay between the harsh vocals and the singing. The song in general has a very like an epic symphonic sound, and I really like the breakdown at the midpoint. You hear some like really like heavy riffs, and I mean like death metal riffs. Remind me of like the band Gojira. I mean, this band, it gets really heavy, but not too much. It's like they give it to you in like these like small doses, just so like you don't really get overwhelmed. The second track I like was Sea of Solomon. I like the song. It has this really cool Middle Eastern riff. Has very like a big operatic sound. You hear the clean and heavy vocals throughout. The song features like an instrumental part throughout the song, and it does have a classic heavy metal guitar solo towards the end, and that would really satisfy fans of traditional heavy metal. The track number 3, or the third song I like, is Freedom, The Wolves Within. So I really like the vocals on this song. The main riff is very heavy, and the song itself is very like epic. The song really showcased Simone's vocal abilities. It has a really good use of like the harsh vocals combined with the clean singing. And there are also elements of like death metal that are probably like a little more subdued on this track. My number 4 pick is Rivers. So this is a softer song. It begins with a soft piano. It really puts the listener in like a relaxing mood. Simone's vocals are very melodic. On this song, you hear the orchestra for most of the song. The band doesn't come in until the 3-minute mark, and I think it's only like a 5-minute song. The song really stands out because it's a softer song, and it really gives the listener a break from all the heavy riffs and the big sounds and the drums and all that. But that brings me to this last song I will talk about, which is like the song right after this. And this is my number 5 pick, called SYNERGIZE, MANIC Manifest. So this song comes right after Rivers, and there's a lot of energy on the track. The song has a lot of symphonic elements. Simone's singing is in the forefront, and the death vocals are more like a little more subdued in the background. You know, the two vocal styles on this track really creates a nice atmosphere. It has the signature death growls and the heavy riffs, but the heavy elements do not overpower the song. Has a really cool heavy metal guitar solo in the middle of the song. I like that a lot. And the song really gets really soft at the end with Simone's vocals, and really brings the song to a close. So in conclusion, for this album in general, this review is probably more of a first impression rather than a complete album review, because this album was released at midnight on the streaming sites, and I was only able to get in one listen, just so I can post this video so it can be out by Friday morning. Now I was, like I said before in the beginning, I was expecting the band to sound like Nightwish or Therion, but I really enjoyed their signature sound, their mix of their symphonic style and the harsh vocals and the heavy riffs. I'm going to give the score an 8 out of 10. I found it enjoyable, and at 70 minutes it didn't really feel too long, and it did keep my interest. I probably need to see if this album is going to stick with me after a few more listens, but at some point I'll do best album of 2020 so far video, sometime at maybe around March. I'll do something like that, and we'll see how this album stands out. So that is it. Comment below, what do you think of this album Epica, if you've listened to it. Make any more comments. I have new releases coming this weekend. The new Alice Cooper, I'm gonna wait until I get it on CD. I want to do an unboxing plus review, so that one might take a few days, but in the meantime we got NoFX, Architects, the Melvins. That's like an old grunge band from the grunge days. I haven't really heard them in a while. I have wrote it down, and I think that's about it for this weekend. So comment below, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I will see you in the next one.